Naruto's path to power, perfect Jinchuriki and unstoppable rise against Konoha's route. Episode 111, No Qualifiers? Naruto. He ran. Red Bean looked at the big snake pill that sank into the ground like a ghost and hurriedly shouted at Naruto. Naruto waved his hand indifferently and said, "Run and run, this guy has long slipped away, and what remains here is just a doppelganger, nothing more." As the most difficult existence in the Hokage, although Konoha's collapse plan is obviously pushing Konoha, once it really threatens his life safety, Orochimaru is definitely the first to slip away, and no one is more desperate than him. It was not until after Jiraiya's death that he somewhat understood the meaning of life, and as a result, he wanted to live himself as Jiraiya, but unfortunately he did not succeed. This guy left a doppelganger body directly after discovering Naruto, and slipped away directly. Regardless of the accuracy of the intelligence, but he would not joke with his own life. Now the conversation with Naruto also gave him the answer he wanted, and this Naruto wanted to make Konoha more interesting as he did. Naruto casually found 2 teams for the first exam, and the squad that mixed in to reassemble the Book of Heaven and Earth. Immediately he rushed directly to the direction of the center tower with the red bean in his arms. 10 kilometers only takes a few minutes for Naruto 22, this boring exam means nothing to him. By the time he arrived in the tower, Team Arrow and Team Hinata had already arrived early. Inuzuka raised his head at Naruto and said triumphantly, "Haha. Naruto-sensei, I surpassed you this time." Naruto raised his eyelids and sneered, "The strength test of this month's share has not been done." Inuzuka snorted, hurriedly took 2 steps back and waved his hand, "Didn't I still have the Chunin exam? Wait for the end, the finish." After that, he dragged Shino and Hinata and hurriedly slipped away. Naruto followed Red Bean to the monitoring room at the top of the tower, where there were already several dark people waiting here in advance. "How? Did you find anything?" Dark Buu saw Red Bean hurriedly asked, and then they saw Naruto following behind him and froze. This guy's habit of beating people without anything has long been spread by Yamato from the dark part, and Red Bean said with a solemn face, "It's a big snake pill. The situation is already serious, let's suspend the exam, can't stop." An old voice came from outside the door, and Ape Flying Sun led 2 dark people to walk in from outside. "Sandame." Red Bean stood up. Ape Flying Sun waved his hand to signal that there was no need to be polite. Red Doe said anxiously, "The big snake pill is an S-class rebel. He can even destroy a small ninja village alone. All countries are watching him. Now his appearance in Konoha is originally a very dangerous signal. Why can't he terminate the exam?" Ape Flying Sun Chopper did not panic at all, but smiled and said to Honda with concern, "Are you okay? It actually let you touch the big snake pill." Red Bean was stunned, and there was indeed a burst of emotion in her heart, and she slashed at the Ape Flying Sun, "I'm fine, Naruto-sama. It just so happened that Naruto saved me in the examination room." Naruto on the side pouted, all at this time did not forget to put out his own virgin shelf. Naruto knew that he was showing himself, since the Red Bean had nothing to do, it meant that he had made a move. Sarutobi felt that as long as he pinched Red Bean and the others, he would definitely be able to protect Konoha. Sure enough, Ape Flying Sun Chopper pretended to be excited and thanked him. Then Duo, "Thank you for saving Red Bean this time, otherwise Konoha will lose an elite." And then he changed his mind. "In the next case, if there is an accident, I am afraid that you will make a move, because this is the same as you said, it is a big trouble that threatens the entire Konoha, and if it is not good, I am afraid that the entire Konoha will perish." Naruto glanced at the 3 generations, and then said with a smile, "Yes, if it is really something that Konoha will be dangerous, the Ape Flying Sun / I will strike will be happy in my heart when I hear this. Once the big snake pill does something, isn't it a danger of destroying the village? If it can't reach the threat of destroying the village, then he can easily deal with it." Sarutobi smiled at Naruto and said, "Since your second exam has passed, then you can go back and rest. The 3rd exam will be in a month, when all the celebrities, nobles, and rich businessmen will come to Konoha to watch the ceremony, and you will be the protagonists in the competition field at that time." He felt that Naruto, as a young man, would definitely have a sense of vanity in his heart, this kind of good opportunity to make a name for himself in the ninja world and win glory for the village, but Naruto looked at the 3 generations with a surprised face. "No qualifiers? Qualifiers?" Ape Fairy was stunned. "What is that?" Naruto waved his hand and smiled, "It's okay, that's fine." After saying that, Naruto left directly in an instant, and Sarutobi looked at Naruto's departing figure strangely and muttered, "Qualifiers?" Then he said to the dark part, "After the 2nd exam, bring me a copy of the passing list." Yes. In the past 4 days, only 7 teams of nearly 100 candidates were left to arrive in the central tower, and Sarutobi looked at the names on the list and was stunned. This is why Naruto asked if there was a qualifier. A full 21 people, 15 of them were Konohas, and 3 teams were newcomers, and the first team had just participated in the 950 test of the Chunin exam. Knowing is naturally knowing that the freshmen who graduated this class are all famous families, plus Naruto's teaching strength is strong. But what I don't know is that Konoha is using the advantages of its own organizer to provide convenience. Sarutobi looked at the list of matches with a frown, or a qualifier? Immediately he thought of Naruto and shook his head. Since there was another one who completed the exam alone after Itachi, there was no need to conduct qualifiers, and when it came to the official competition, they could naturally see Konoha's strength. The ape flying sun slash in the original book is to let the little powerhouses of Konoha village see clearly the intelligence gathering battle of the strength of the Iero who came to the central tower without injury for an hour and a half in the Sand Shinobi village, and now that Naruto is used as a guarantee, naturally there is no need to worry too much about the backboard. It's just that the original one-on-one exam format will be changed. Most of these newcomers in Konoha are special strengthening, and the real individual combat power is really worrying. So the last game has to be played as a group. So the ape flew to the sun and clapped directly, set the exam time for a month later, and now send out famous posts to invite famous people from all walks of life to come to the ceremony. Episode 112, You Actually Want Me to Sell My Body? The second exam ended without any surprises, and the butterfly effect generated by Naruto did not lead to a qualifier for studying opponent intelligence because Eiro's strength was too strong. Kabuto knelt respectfully in front of Orochimaru to report Sasuke's performance in the exam. Yes? Orochimaru nodded after listening to the report. Did you easily adapt to the power of the spell seal? Kabuto whispered, yes, Orochimaru-sama, Sasuke has been following Naruto to cultivate physical arts all these years. I'm afraid this is one of the reasons why he can easily adapt to the power of the spell, but… Orochimaru suddenly opened his eyes and looked at Pocket and asked, but what? But it seems that the strength has suddenly skyrocketed by more than 10 times. Sasuke has swelled a little. He went to Naruto after the match to fight anyway. It is more miserable now. Orochimaru. Sure enough, Itachi's younger brother is a retard, right? That guy even had to think twice about me trying to deal with it, and only gained the power of the spell seal for one stage and ran to find Naruto's trouble? Orochimaru rubbed the corners of his eyes, and then waved his hand. Forget it, leave him alone. He looked at the birds and flowers outside the house, and suddenly there was a complicated expression in his eyes. But it's really quiet. No, it should be said that this country has become too peaceful, and other countries are busy looking at the expansion of armaments. Kabuto slowly stood up and smiled. Can you take it now? In Kabuto's opinion, Orochimaru's purpose should be to reclaim his Hokage's position. The big snake pill looked out of the courtyard with an inexplicable expression. Yes, although I don't know if it is interesting to take that old man's head. A flash of fanaticism flashed on Kabuto. Is it? Orochimaru looked at Kabuto's eyes narrowed, and a scrutinizing expression appeared in his eyes. Kabuto said without fear, I think you are still hesitating. Immediately, he reminded the big snake pill. Next, the forces of each ninja village will collide for a long time and fiercely, and then he changed his voice. Of course, Oto Ninja Village is also among them. You want to be that fuse, right? Sasuke, is the other gunpowder prepared for this? The big snake pill looked at him and smiled. You read it too thoroughly. It makes me feel a little uncomfortable. With a little dissatisfaction in his calm tone, he said, I don't know where Das, Sark, and Kim are. Those 3 idiots almost pulled people down in the first place. It seems that you haven't fully trusted me yet. Orochimaru looked at the jealous Pocket and smiled slightly. I don't think there is any need to tell you about this person who is a right-hand man, right? Isn't that proof that I trust you? Kabuto heard this and looked at the big snake pill, looking at his serious expression, and felt a lot more comfortable in his heart. So, Sasuke's matter is left to you. The spell I gave him, he seems to have adapted without much effort. So I want to get him to open the second stage of the spell, before someone intervenes. Kabuto was stunned when he heard this. You mean? It's really not like you, aren't you too anxious? A frivolous figure appeared in the mind of the big snake pill. Just avoid extraneous branches. Pocket. If you want to stop me now, then you can only kill Sasuke. If you say, you can't kill me, even if you are very powerful, it is only the level of Kakashi. Kabuto turned his head to stare at Orochimaru. He felt that his loyalty to Orochimaru was deeply trampled. However, the big snake pill suddenly pouted and smiled. Just kidding, okay, let's go. I still trust you a lot. Kabuto's eyes sharpened, and he turned his head and left the Oto Ninja Village station. Orochimaru looked at the departing Pocket and thought in his heart, that expression? What the hell are you thinking? You wouldn't really kill Sasuke, would you? As a genius spy, no one can know what Kabuto really thinks as Konoha's undercover, Sand Shinobi's undercover, Scorpion's undercover, his own undercover. All these years of experience have long made him forget who he is. Orochimaru just gave him a big pie to get to know himself again. Even Orochimaru is not confident enough now. Kabuto is still loyal to himself. After all, he has been sent back undercover for 4 years. Orochimaru didn't expect at this time that Kabuto was loyal, and he was mad with loyalty. All day long, I felt that Orochimaru would be a god who wanted to dominate the ninja realm in the future. Kabuto left the caravan and went straight to the hospital. At this time, Sasuke was not protected by Kakashi's arrangement of the dark part. After all, most of the injuries on his body were beaten when he provoked Naruto. Looking at Sasuke's black lines covered in bandages, this was not an ordinary miserable beating. What are you going to do? Sasuke looked at Kabuto impatiently. He naturally remembered the guy who stole his limelight in the first exam. Kabuto smiled at Sasuke and said, I know you're the same age as Naruto, right? Or maybe you're a few months older than him, obviously being called a genius since childhood, but you can't even touch the corners of his clothes. I'm afraid your heart is not very comfortable, right? Sasuke's face was livid, staring at his pocket deadly, and he said sharply, what do you mean? Specifically ran over to taunt me? Kabuto shook his head and smiled, you feel that power, right? Sasuke's pupil shrank, you're from Orochimaru. Kabuto didn't admit it, but changed the subject. Orochimaru-sama has been to many places after being kicked out by Konoha. One of the places called the Shao organization, he saw Uchiha Itachi. As far as he understands, with your current strength, wanting to take revenge on him is completely foolish. If you want to become stronger, Lord Orochimaru can help you do it. Sasuke's face turned dark when he heard Pocket's words, Uchiha Itachi? Even if Naruto told Sasuke the order of the Konoha high level, but this did not prevent Sasuke from hating Uchiha Itachi. After all, under Naruto's guidance, Uchiha Itachi has become a lackey of Konoha's high level. Obviously he can make a bloodless coup, but he has to destroy the innocent Uchiha family, even ordinary old and weak, sick and disabled. This is beyond what needs to be done to suppress the mutiny. Of course, this is all Naruto in order to improve the strength of the second pillar. In case the big filial piety is whitewashed, Sasuke's kaleidoscope to find who to open. With Sasuke's talent it is estimated that he will not need a kaleidoscope in this life. Now that he heard the news of Itachi, Sasuke was really emotionally excited. What price do I have to pay? What do you want me to do? Kabuto smiled slightly, your body. Sasuke looked at the pocket in horror. Groove? You actually want me to sell my body? Table tennis? Pocket? Episode 113. The totem mortal returns to the village. Kabuto walked out of the hospital with a stunned look, and he suddenly felt that he still had to find a way to cure Junmaru, and let him be the most suitable body of the big snake pill. This Sasuke didn't know who and where he learned so many strange ideas, and he only wondered if Orochimaru-sama would be influenced by him. After hearing that Orochimaru-sama did not want his flesh, Sasuke showed his sincere contempt for Orochimaru's ability to take away, and then agreed without hesitation to learn the advanced form of the spell seal. It's just that now Sasuke's injury is too serious, and now to directly switch the spell seal too is undoubtedly to send him to death, so Kabuto and Sasuke agreed to go to Sasuke after he recovered from his injury. Anyway, advanced spell seal 2 only takes less than a day. Naruto, on the other side, who was waiting for Konoha's plan to collapse, began to wander around boredly. With his current strength, unless it is a lottery above the A level, the super shadow level reward has not improved him much. Instead of wasting destiny points, it is better to save it and directly draw the S grade. It is this 100 million heavenly destiny value that makes people look a little painful, and this matter is not urgent at all. So Naruto decided to go to Ichiraka Ramen 583 to connect with Calamus, but when he opened the curtain and entered, an old man with white hair and a red robe was looking at Calamus with a squint. If it weren't for the ramen under the pad, the hara might have been left on the table. Naruto raised his eyebrows. Jiraiya? This guy is back? As one of the few people in the original book who really cares about Naruto, Jiraiya's death also successfully made Naruto wake up, from Sakura's licking dog to living for himself and fighting for those who care about him. Naruto, who was originally lonely since childhood, has always regarded the bond between people as his most precious thing. Coupled with his big grinning personality, he naturally likes it and expresses it directly. Naruto was Sakura's #1 licking dog in the early stage, but his blatant show of love was treated as garbage by Sakura. Despite this, Naruto still did not adhere to it and did his best to be a qualified licking dog. It is clear that he is not doing well, but he has to show that he does not care. When Nezuko defected, Sakura cried to death, and in order not to make the goddess sad, Naruto directly made a promise to bring back Sasuke, and since then embarked on the ultimate dog-licking journey to find a husband for his goddess. At that time, Naruto lived for the people he cared about, and valued the feelings of others more than life, but when he got the news of Jiraiya's death, he faced the group of people around him and found that all they were concerned about was the information that Jiraiya brought back. So overnight, Naruto instantly matured, and he changed from protecting the people he cared about to protecting those who cared about him. And Jiraiya's death has also become one of the few regrets among many Naruto fans. At this time, seeing Jiraiya appear in front of him, Naruto had a feeling of being in a trance, and he smiled and stepped forward to the calamus and said, "Come and bowl tonkatsu ramen, it must be very spicy." Calamus gave Naruto a blank look when he heard this. Where is tonkatsu ramen spicy? Char siu is obviously sweet. Jiraiya glanced at Naruto silently. This is the child of the fourth generation. When Orochimaru was thrown out of Konoha, Tsunade left in discouragement. Jiraiya naturally knew that he should also go, otherwise the next person to be excluded should be himself. So, in the name of hunting down Orochimaru, he embarked on a new search for the Son of Destiny. Over the years, he also wanted to come back to see, but in front of his mentor and apprentice, he finally chose to escape. Now that he returned with this big snake pill, he naturally wanted to take a look at his apprentice's son, who was still named after the protagonist of his book. He inquired from the tavern. It seemed that this person Zhu Li was not bad, even ordinary villagers knew that he was the son of the fourth generation of Hokage. It's just that this son of the fourth generation of Hokage is somewhat sophisticated, and he seems to be gritting his teeth when he is mentioned. So he was going to come and see Naruto with his own eyes, so he appeared in the Ichiraka ramen restaurant. "Here, ramen for you. Add the chili yourself." Calamus huffed and placed the ramen in front of Naruto, and for her to change the taste of the noodles made by the ramen chef at will was simply humiliating to the chef. But Naruto is not so particular about it. As a past life from a food country, his favorite cuisine is undoubtedly Sichuan cuisine, so how can you eat noodles without chili peppers? Naruto pointed to the chili oil and asked Jiraiya, "Would you like some?" "This is something I specially matched, and the thief is addicted." Zilai was also stunned, and then opened his hand and shouted exaggeratedly, "Xiao Yan. Do you recognize me, the Miamu Mountain Toad Spirit Immortal Sudao Man Toad Immortal, so you are ready to please me?" Naruto. Wipe. Late stage of secondary disease. Naruto gave a blank look at himself. "I love to eat, don't eat and pull down." Zilai also froze, who said not to eat. He took it and added a few spoonfuls directly to the noodles. The calamus on the opposite side stretched out his hand to remind that. The next moment, Zilai also stuck out his tongue and shouted with a red face, "Water. Water, calamus. Very spicy." Naruto on the side laughed. Ninja eating habits are light like some places, like Naruto's heavy taste is the only one. He has been looking for a long time to find this chili oil similar to Chaotian pepper. Basically no one can stand the spiciness except himself. Jiraiya pointed at Naruto with an excited look and said, "You actually poisoned Naruto." He glanced at Zilai with a look of contempt, and then drank the chili pepper in front of him expressionlessly. Jiraiya frowned and looked at Naruto's remaining noodle soup suspiciously. Could it be that he wasn't spicy? So Jiraiya took another sip of Naruto's leftover noodle soup, and suddenly his forehead was sweaty, and his face was full of anger and almost didn't get spicy over. Naruto looked at the spicy crazy watering Jiraiya laughed. "You immortal is not powerful, you can't even eat spicy, how did you become a master of the fourth generation?" Zilai also froze when he heard this. "You know me?" Naruto smiled. "Of course, the master of the fourth generation of Hokage, one of the legendary three ninjas. How? This time I came to stop the big snake pill?" Jiraiya's pupils shrank and he looked at Naruto, in shock. Why does this guy in front of him seem to know everything? The son born to his own apprentice is so awesome? Episode 114, Let's Rule the World. Jiraiya looked around nervously, and then he said seriously to Naruto, "Come with me and talk to other places." Naruto shrugged indifferently, and then took him directly to a nearby mountain spring on the edge of the village. There are also several young ladies in swimsuits, playing in the water in the mountain spring. Naruto. Jiraiya looked at Naruto with a serious look and asked, "Who told you this?" If it weren't for the fact that just now he was still looking at the telescope and showing an idiotic expression, Naruto might have believed his serious appearance. Naruto didn't respond positively to Jiraiya's question. After all, telling the truth could only make him more confused. He turned to look at Konoha behind him and asked, "What do you think of Konoha?" Jiraiya was stunned. "Konoha?" Then he looked at the peaceful village and unconsciously said, "Peace?" For those civilians at the bottom, Konoha village definitely represents peace. As long as it is not involved in high-level political struggles and disputes in the ninja world, Konoha is definitely the most desirable of those civilians. Naruto did not refute what Jiraiya said, because he knew that what Jiraiya said was correct, and the reason why he chose to escape the village was precisely because the practice of ape-flying sun-slashing captured the hearts of the vast majority of civilians in Konoha village. What does the deception between the high level have to do with my commoners, even if it is the first blood successor limit family of Konoha? After the extermination of the clan, it is just a conversation after tea. It took Sarutobi decades to successfully dilute the village that was originally only the ninja into Konoha, where the commoners and the ninja fused. Originally, with the support of the ninja clan, Hokage became 100% and became a common election of the villagers, which made public opinion especially important in the Hokage election. So when Danzo failed to promote Orochimaru as Hokage, he once complained, "But if you have a little prestige in Konoha, it will not be like this." Zelie also knows this, so he can't destroy the peace created by this ape-flying sun. However, he could not agree with the practice of sacrificing his companions for peace, so he chose to leave Konoha and travel alone. He wants to find the child of prophecy that the Toad Fairy said, and wants to see if he can change the world's strife. Naruto smiled slightly after hearing the piece. What about the ninja world? Zelie was also stunned, thinking of what he had seen and heard in various countries over the years, and the various intelligence collected in order to track down the traces of the Great Snake Pill. Jiraiya's face became heavy. Naruto laughed at this time. There are constant disputes, right? Small states continue to act as buffers for large countries. Even the great powers began to hire illegal mercenary organizations to participate in small-scale wars, and the friction between countries intensified, and the so-called monarchs of the daimyo, nobles, and idle eggs were eager to start a new round of ninja war. Naruto's pupils shrank when he heard the talk, because he knew that everything Naruto said was correct, and Yunin village was frantically expanding its armaments with a good relationship with the daimyo, which caused the strong dissatisfaction of the feuding Awayne village, and they hired Xiao to participate in the war between countries, and the conflict between countries was about to break out. Cardo's kind of merchants in the underground world continue to squeeze small countries, and nobles of various countries are tired of the small fights that train ninjas to bet on themselves. The number of ninjas in each ninja village soared, and there were as many as tens of thousands of registered ninjas in each of the 5 major countries. The severely missing mission has caused the competition between the villages to become more intense, and the entire ninja world is like a barrel stuffed with gunpowder, and the slightest friction will be triggered. At this urgent time, Konoha village seemed peaceful, as if Konoha turned itself into a piece of fat and beckoned to the hungry wolves of other villages to hurry up and eat. Looking at Jiraiya's surprised expression, Naruto smiled slightly. He slowly stood up and smiled at Jiraiya. I have a fairly comfortable time in Konoha, and I am still quite satisfied with the current peace, but there are always some fools trying to break this calm. You know what? Thousands of years ago, the entire ninja world was controlled by one country, called the Land of Ancestors, and the world under the control of the ancestral kingdom is peaceful, without any strife and war, and the reason is because the ancestral country is led by the legendary goddess of Otoki Kagaya. Powerful strength makes no one have any desire to resist. If the world is restored to one, then won't the entire ninja world be restored to a peaceful state? Jiraiya looked at Naruto in shock. You want to dominate the ninja world? Naruto smiled and shook his head and said, Ninja world? No, I want to rule the world. As long as there are those waste daimyo who only know how to eat, drink and have fun, this world will never usher in true peace. Where the fart is bigger, there are still so many countries. The head that can be beaten by the 5 villages can break the blood. Zelie, there is a weapon that either makes the world peaceful or destroys the world, and this is the role of the true child of destiny. Man's desires never cease, but can fear stop the growth of desires? Do you want true peace? Then let the world tremble under your feet. Jiraiya looked at Naruto like a madman. This is impossible. Even the legendary ninja god Thousand Hand Pillar has not done this, even if the 6 Tao Immortals are reborn. 6 Tao Immortals? Naruto pouted disdainfully. He's just a son of Kagaya Atsuki, and it turns out that the so-called peace he won by overthrowing his mother is even more nonsense. The white peerless talent created during Kagaya's reign was a mere 100,000, and since entering the Sengoku period, the entire ninja world has suffered more than 100,000 injuries. Jiraiya looked at Naruto with a confused expression. The country of ancestors, or the overthrow of the 6 Tao Immortals? Naruto laughed. None of this matters. The important thing is that when you have eternal life and invincible strength, you can make a new order for this world. Peace or destruction, it's just a thought. And aren't you here this time to see off your own teacher? It shows that you clearly know that if Konoha is not sober a little more, he should be eliminated. And in my opinion, the same is true of the ninja world. Naruto knew that the Atsuki clan had the existence of the god of Atsuki, who devoured thousands of planets. The devil knows who is stronger than the gods in the One Punch Man world, and although he can't die, it doesn't mean that his daughters-in-law can't die, just like Saitama and Hungry Wolf fighting Genos' innocent lying gun. Naruto didn't feel like this happened to him. Therefore, he wanted to complete the gathering of luck in this world as soon as possible, so that he could reach a state where he really did what he wanted. If Shippuden's self no longer has the aura of the protagonist, then forcibly make yourself the protagonist 0. Episode 115. In the new year, do you want to see the world peace? Jiraiya left in a daze, and he was shocked by Naruto's words. Naruto told him that he was the child of prophecy that he had been looking for. It's just that the world has changed a little. He, the son of prophecy, does not seem to need his own guidance. Because he actually felt that Naruto's statement felt quite reasonable. The ninja world wars all began when the upper echelons were dissatisfied with the status quo and chose to expand their territory, and each ninja world war ended because of the heavy casualties in the major ninja villages. True peace seems to really require the emergence of an existence like the ninja god Senjukuma. And Naruto just awakened Muduan, and he was still a nine-tailed pillar force, which made what was originally impossible have a glimmer of hope. And the reason why Naruto told Jiraiya is mainly to make up for the regret when he chased the drama in his previous life. He didn't want Jiraiya to choose to make a move at this time. After all, he is one of the few plot characters who looks good. In case Jiraiya also intervenes to stop him from clearing the routes, he will not show mercy to his subordinates. Fortunately, now it seems that he is the same as he thought. He knows everything about Konoha's ills, and Jiraiya in the plot did not intend to appear, because he really couldn't see Ebisu blindly teaching Naruto, so he took the initiative to appear to help Naruto lift the seal of the 5 elements and taught him psychic. However, afterwards, he also told Ebisu not to alarm the Konoha high level, and in the Konoha collapse plan, he only prevented Orochimaru's psychic beast from destroying the village, and did not go to rescue Sarutobi Hinata. And this is enough to show Jiraiya's attitude towards Konoha. He just came to see off his teacher. Now after hearing about Naruto's inducement, he completely gave up the idea of stopping Orochimaru. And after Naruto solved this matter, he also contacted Zaibu in the Land of Waves. In the past few months, he has successfully taken over Cardo's industry, and as one of the top underworld merchants in the ninja world, the wealth controlled by Cardo has stunned his jaw. At this time, the news of Cardo's death had not yet been exposed, and many merchants had not begun to retaliate against the ninja for killing their vulnerable groups. And Naruto found Zaino Chop and Shiro again. At this time, they lived extremely comfortably in Kato's base. After all, they had been chased and killed by Wuin village, and such a secret base could always hide for a while. What's next? Without frowning at Naruto and asking, hiding it must not last long. Yes, no matter how you know, once the news of Cardo's killing spreads throughout celebrity circles, then the culprit of killing Cardo will inevitably receive high rewards from many wealthy businessmen. They would never allow ninjas who dared to take the initiative against them. Once this precedent is set, then no amount of money they make will become a fat pig that the ninjas slaughter. Naruto waved his hand without care. Don't deal with them. You have to remember that strength always comes first. The ninja world is about to usher in a new pattern, and you have to improve your strength before again. Saying that, Naruto threw the hand-copied second-generation Hokage's water escape to Zaibu. Your ninjutsu foundation is really too poor. There are too many limitations of relying on the silent killing technique alone. Here is the powerful water escape that the second-generation Hokage simplifies or masters. You learn them during this time. Without being stunned when he heard this, he was stunned and looked at the scroll in Naruto's hand, and sure enough, it recorded a full set of water ninjutsu, and even the water dragon bullet that he needed to spend 44 seals to make was simplified to 4 seals. He looked at Naruto with a shocked look and asked, "If you give me such an important thing, Konoha's high-ranking people won't be able to make a rebellion? You must know that a village's ninjutsu is an important strategic resource, especially like the second generation of Hokage, who is famous for his water escape, and the ninjutsu he developed is coveted even in the mist-hidden village." Konoha high-rise? Naruto laughed. They don't have time to take care of this little thing now, and at this time, I am afraid they are still struggling with how to make a name for themselves in the Chunin exam. Naruto immediately changed his tone. The other purpose of coming this time is the same. Don't be stunned again. What purpose? Naruto smiled lightly. I want you to raise all the funds of Cardo, and then go to suppress the gambling made by those daimyo and rich businessmen in the Zonin exam. No longer chopping the words, his eyes widened. Does anyone dare to accept such a large fund? Naruto looked at it speechlessly without another glance. You underestimate those daimyo. The wealth accumulated over thousands of years has reached a terrifying point, and I just need a reason. Without cutting a question mark, he looked at Naruto. What reason? Naruto grinned. Reason to start the war. Zaibu Chop's eyes widened suddenly. Naruto looked at the shocked Zai Chop, smiled and patted him on the shoulder. Xiaoyan, do you want to see the world nuclear level? Try to improve your strength. If you can survive to the end, you should be able to see the peace and prosperity you want. After speaking, Naruto's figure directly turned into a cloud of smoke. Shadow doppelganger? Without looking at the disappearing Naruto frowning, he asked Shiro on the side, how? Are we going to trust him? A gentle smile appeared on Bai's face. I am a tool for not beheading adults. I just need to follow and not behead adults. After hearing this, he was stunned, and then nodded. I should have died a long time ago. If what he said is true, then let's try to live to the end. Then the room fell silent. If Naruto saw this scene, he would find a way to get hormonal fruits to fulfill the dreams of these two friends. And Naruto, who was far away in Konoha, also received the message from the shadow doppelganger. And I have to say that as long as chakra is strong enough, the role of this thing is much more convenient than expected, and even Naruto has to sigh that Senjutsu is a real ninjutsu genius. Sure enough, hatred can greatly boost a person's potential, and in order to deal with the evil Uchiha, Senju has developed too many forbidden techniques. Unfortunately, he was banned by his brother in the end. If these forbidden arts are popularized, where will it be the turn of the Uchiha clan to become the #1 family in Konoha? Just a rebirth of filthy soil can make the Uchiha family unable to eat and go. As for the sacrifices, just kidding, are there still fewer enemy prisoners captured alive in the battle between the two sides? Exchange the enemy's life for your own combat power. As long as there is no pit in the brain, you will not dislike this forbidden technique and use it cruelly. It's a pity that it's obvious that the brain between the 1,000-hand pillars is the kind with pits. This kind of ninja world is a family. Hello me, hello everyone. The virgin thought was naturally carved into the genes by Azura chakra. Eventually, the Senju clan disappeared into the history of the ninja world. Long. Episode 116, Wind Transmission Without Wind. Moonlight Hurricane's body was found in Kyoto Castle, and Sarutobi urgently summoned his ninjas to gather in the Hokage Tower. Someone may have heard that the body of Moonlight Wind was found near Kikyo City. What? Blast? How is it possible? This can't be. Hondo's pupil shrank and frowned and asked, did the big snake pill do it? Kakashi on the side said calmly, not necessarily, you can't simply make a conclusion. Hirokazu should be responsible for monitoring the various ninja villages that come to Konoha to take the Chunin exam, and his escape is supposed to be generally not discovered, but it cannot be ruled out that it has something to do with Orochimaru. He frowned, then stopped the Zonin exam and catch the big snake pill. Ape Fei waved his hand and said, no. That guy made his identity clear in front of Red Bean and threatened not to abort the Zonin exam. What's more, the Zonin exam, where the allies gathered, once Konoha was aborted, it instantly became the laughingstock of the ninja world. Mito Menyen on the side frowned and looked at Sarutobi Hinata. What's going on? He had never heard of the news at all. Sarutobi explained with a smile, Orochimaru has the ability to conquer a small country 22, and after he left the village, all countries paid attention to him, and he still left Konoha with resentment, and all countries were very devoted to him. The upper ninja below were silent, and some well-informed upper ninja naturally knew the truth of the big snake pill matter. The legendary 3 ninjas, said to drive out and drive out. Konoha didn't want to naturally let other villages die of hunger, but fortunately, Orochimaru did not show any intention of defecting to other villages, but instead made a small ninja village himself and did not know what he planned to do. And the only thing that Ape Fei had miscalculated in this matter was Ji Lei. He never thought that Ji Lai, who had cultivated the strongest will of fire, would choose to leave the village. Over the years, he has been trying to find a way to bring Jiraiya back to Konoha. He knows that Jiraiya's personality will definitely not compete with him for the position of Hokage, and just yesterday, someone in the dark department reported to him and saw Jiraiya's figure in Konoha village. He has already sent Ebisu to contact Jiraiya. He was confident that as long as he carried out a little moral kidnapping, he would definitely deal with the big snake pill. However, what he didn't know was that Naruto had already found Jiraiya first, and Jiraiya in the plot traveled back and naturally heard about the tragic situation of Naruto's life, coupled with the teaching of an unreliable Ebisu to make Jiraiya for 8th Flying Day. Chopping's dissatisfaction reached its peak. So when Ebisu approached Jiraiya, he refused Mio's request to return to the village without hesitation. Ebisu had no choice but to use the radical method to say that he believed in Jiraiya. But what the ape flying sun has done over the years has long chilled Zilei, so Zilei only chose to stand by and watch the plan of the big snake pill in the end, but only blocked the psychic giant snake with relatively large destructive power in the building. For the death of the ape flying sun, just said a word, believe that the 3 generations disappeared. However, Naruto in this world is not as miserable as in the original book, and under his own operation, Naruto has not lived much different from the sons and daughters. Naruto was also worried that Jiraiya was nostalgic and chose to fight against him, so he would take the initiative to have a showdown with Jiraiya. However, Sarutobi didn't know about these things at all, and at this time he was still immersed in the joy of Jiraiya's double hole card as a guarantee. The one below asked nervously, you mean that the alliance countries are going to join forces with Orochimaru to betray Konoha? Sarutobi narrowed his eyes, and Kakashi on the side explained calmly, those alliance treaties are just casual agreements, and this is how the ninja world wars in the past happened. Ape Fei looked at the floating human heart and knocked on the table. There is too little information now, there is no need to speculate. Xiaochun nodded on the side, the dark department has already secretly sent people to collect intelligence from various countries, and if you act rashly, you will inevitably fall into a dangerous situation, and I am afraid that the enemy also has this intention. At this time, Sarutobi looked at the ninjas below, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. Moreover, I trust you. The people below looked at Ape Flying Sun Chopper with different expressions, and Ape Flying Sun Chopper said confidently, as a last resort, only the power of Konoha can be gathered to fight. Konoha, with Jiraiya and Naruto, is not at all able to touch porcelain now. Sarutobi had enough confidence to make Orochimaru come and go, and this was exactly when he proved his cowardice and incompetence. According to Naruto, if Orochimaru launched the Konoha collapse plan against Konoha, it was impossible for him not to make a move. Even if he didn't make a move, he would definitely not see the Great Snake Pill destroy Konoha. With double protection, Ape Flying Sun Chopper has unprecedented confidence at this time. However, after the meeting, Red Bean came to the Hokage's office. At this time there were photos of the previous generations of Hokage hanging in the room, and Sarutobi was watching the 4 generations of Hokage watching out of his mind. If it weren't for this guy's martyrdom, where would he have so many troublesome things? A more obedient puppet is that the brain cannot turn. Naruto-sama, Red Beans. I'm sorry, Hondo couldn't sleep at the thought of the Big Snake Pill, and as the apprentice of the Big Snake Pill, she didn't know how to deal with the harm that the Big Snake Pill brought to the village. Even after hearing the communication between Orochimaru and Naruto's fingertips, she still couldn't understand this act of attacking her companion. Ape Flying Sun saw the confusion of Red Bean. He smiled slightly. Yes, the will of fire is very solid. Do you regret coming back alive from the forest of death? Red Doe lowered his head. If he died with the Big Snake Pill, maybe the Moonlight Wind would not need to die. Don't care at this time, you already have nothing to do with the Great Snake Pill. Then he pretended to sigh and said to the Red Bean, there is no ninja in Konoha who can compete with him now, not even me. Red Doe said unwillingly, if the 4th generation of Hokage is still there. Ape Fairy Chop's face turned dark. Which pot does not mention which pot? Do I want you to say this? Don't say that, he has already died to save the village, and that was 13 years ago. He's no longer there, we must save Konoha on our own. Sarutobi coughed twice. Actually, there is a ninja who can fight against the big 177 Snake Pill, it's just. Hondo was stunned. Just? Ape Fairy sighed. It's just that even if he is, I can't directly order him to strike. After all, he is the son of a hero. Hondo was stunned when he heard this. What you said is. Naruto? Is his strength really that strong? Naruto displayed different powers in front of different people, and he felt that Hawkeye's view that it is different from a beast that uses full strength when fighting with a lion was extremely pretentious and very feeling. So the whole Konoha does not have a unified clear understanding of his strength. And Red Bean just knows that his strength is very strong and will use Mudu, but she also just thinks that Naruto's strength is similar to Tenzo Yamato. After all, his Mudu is mostly used to build houses, and there are later games. Thinking of this, the Red Bean's face turned red. Sarutobi nodded at the Red Bean. If there is one person in Konoha who can stop the Great Snake Pill, it must be Naruto. Alas, if Orochimaru's plan succeeds, I'm afraid Konoha will fall into war. Saying that, Sarutobi picked up the Hokage cloak on the table and put it on his head. It's a pity, Naruto may resent me because of the matter of the 4th generation. Even if something happens, you don't need to blame yourself, I'll blow the wind. Saying that, he walked out of the house quietly, his back revealed endless regret, and the Red Bean behind him shook his heart. And Sarutobi, who left the office with a smile on his mouth, the relationship between Red Bean and Naruto he had known for a long time. Episode 117, The Tangled Temari 3 Sibling. Tomorrow is the day when the Chunin exam officially begins. Konoha village had already gathered a large number of wealthy merchants and nobles at this time. Everyone was immersed in a prosperous and peaceful jubilation. Ha ha ha. Akimichi Dingza laughed and patted Yamanaka on the shoulder and teased, it's really nice that your family is a girl. I heard that you have a close relationship with Naruto. Unlike the kid in my family, most of the family's expenses are food expenses. Lujio on the side rolled his eyes. Idiot, it's your family that is more special. He put his arm on Haichi's shoulder and said with a look of disgust, women are really troublesome. Hai nodded in agreement. That's right, sometimes I really don't know how to get along with them. Shikaku nodded with empathy, that is to say, the man is really already very hard. I don't know what Naruto's guy's head thinks. Akimichi Dingza turned his head depressedly and stared at the menu and said angrily, humph, it seems that only I am a bad person. Then he pointed to the menu and shouted, hey, boss. Add everything above. 2 copies. Shikaku and Haichi rolled their eyes when they heard this. The Akimichi clan basically didn't have much other expenses other than eating. At this time, the door of the barbecue restaurant was pushed open. Welcome. Several people turned to look, and Shikamaru stood at the door, scratching his head with a look of lovelessness. Akimichi Dingza laughed. Wow. A powerful reinforcement has arrived. Quick, Shikamaru also have something to do. One. Shikamaru looked at the drunken 3 and sighed. Oh, hey. Daddy, hurry up, you should go back. Lu Jiotong blushed and asked impatiently, what do you say? It's verbose, the season is just to be lively. Shikamaru rolled his eyes helplessly, what kind of festival is this? It's really troublesome. Shikahisa swore a lesson, stupid, from the beginning, the official Chunin exam is like a festival. Shikamaru rolled his eyes, I'm taking the exam tomorrow, really, let me call you. Lu Jio was stunned when he heard this, you. Do I want to take an exam? Shikamaru. Please, daddy. Forget it, anyway, my words were brought, and my mother said not to forget about tomorrow's business, otherwise she wants you to look good. Lu Jio was full of excitement, and the alcohol on his body suddenly dissipated a lot, and he waved his hand with a displeased face, forget it, the matter is important. Immediately, the three of them left the barbecue restaurant angrily. On the other side, at the Sand Ninja Village station, Temari kept wiping his folding fan, and Kankuro checked his puppet over and over again. The movements in the hands all proved the complicated mood of the two. It's tomorrow, right? Temari suddenly looked up at Kankuro and asked, and Kankuro spat out without looking back, yes. Temari then turned to Kankuro with a gloomy face and asked, so? What to do? Kankuro smiled bitterly, Temari, we are ninjas, and we are children of Kazekage. Even he could not have imagined that his father would use his own children as bait to start a war. Not long ago, after Muraki handed over Orochimaru's letter of alliance, he received instructions from Kazekage, and the purpose of letting the three take the Chunin exam this time was to release Era's false sleep technique in the name of the exam to attract Konoha's attention, so that the village of Tsunahide could take the opportunity to attack the defenseless Konoha. Due to the alliance between the Fire Nation and the Wind Nation, this led to the daimyo of the Wind Country handing over a large number of commissions to Konoha, and drastically reducing the funding of the National Ninja Village, which greatly reduced the number of ninjas in the Sand Hidden Village. Suddenly, Shine Village seems to have become a father who does not love his mother. This caused great dissatisfaction among the high level of Shine Village, and if it weren't for the 4 generations of Wind Shadows to find Shajin and barely deal with it, perhaps Sand Ninja Village would have become the first ninja village to be disbanded because of poverty. So this time Kazekage decided to hit Konoha hard no matter what the cost, and then let the daimyo feel the power and majesty of the village of Tsunahide and let him know the importance of danger management. Are you going to start a war again? Temari sighed, once the war is provoked, I will meet Konoha's blade. The alliance treaty that was exchanged for great sacrifice will be broken again, and many people will die. Kankuro on the side hurriedly signaled that Temari had ears on the partition wall, hey. Feed. Temari, he sighed and whispered, this is all the will of Lord Wind Shadow. At this time, Marky pushed the door in, that's right, it's all the will of Kazekage-sama, ninjas are only props for war after all, and that alliance treaty is just a tool that threatens our existence. This is a super A-level mission, treat it with care, tomorrow I will give it to me AI Luoyu. The three nodded their heads, only Maji looked weak, because Kazekage told him that in order not to attract Konoha's attention, they would not get the slightest support. Even Maki's attempt to let Shinobi Village perform a military exercise on the border to attract Konoha's attention was rejected. That is to say, once the war starts, he and the 3 of them will be victims of this plan. Even Marky couldn't tell me about the 3 siblings, after all, his own father directly sold the 3 daughters for the sake of the village, and no one knew if they would make any radical moves. Everyone spent the sleepless night, and the next day Konoha Village was full of firecrackers in unison, as if everyone was really celebrating a holiday, without the slightest feeling that ninjas were about to fight desperately under the eyes of the moon. The teams that passed the second exam slowly walked out of the huge arena in a neat line, the first team of Oto Ninja Village, the first team of Sand Ninja Village, and the 5th team of Konoha Village. When everyone saw this situation, they all talked about it. Is it really Konoha that is the strongest? Most of the people selected for the official competition this year are newcomers. Look. That was last year's first senior, Hinata Ninji. This year's hostile Uchiha Sasuke of the Uchiha clan is also there. I heard that this year is a group battle, and it pays attention to mutual cooperation, so I see that the Pig Deer Butterfly team has a better chance of winning. After all, the 3 clans are good and one. Makes sense, so who did you press? I'm pressing, hee. A rich businessman from the land of wind sneered and looked at this group of idiots. They had no idea about the horror of shinobi under the Sand Ninja Village this time. That is the secret weapon of the village, that is, the husband of his daughter-in-law's ex-boyfriend's best friend only obtained first-hand information as a ninja in Sand Ninja Village. This time Stud Sand Ninja Village can definitely make a lot of money. Thinking of this, he already dreamed of the joy that he would soon be among the ninja symbols overnight. At this moment, a lazy figure slowly walked out of the gate. Episode 118, Are Orochimaru's subordinates so brave? Yawn, what are you guys doing so early? Don't you have to sleep with your daughter-in-law? Naruto yawned and walked in from the gate of the arena. Sasuke looked at Naruto with a proud expression, his eyes revealing an endless irrepressible urge to rush out. After a few days of fighting with the god of death, Tai now has swelled his strength to the point where he can't recover. He couldn't wait to talk to Naruto right away and let him know why the flowers were so red. Shikamaru rolled his eyes boredly, his father was severely taught a lesson by his mother. And after Naruto appeared, the audience booed, an orphan of 4 generations of Hokage who only alchemized every day, with the 9 tails sealed in his body, and caused trouble all day, which made the villagers of Konoha very unwilling to see Naruto. The unknown merchants from outside the village, the daimyo, asked strangely, "What are you shouting?" "That yellow-haired one, son of the 4th generation of Hokage." "What? He turned out to be the son of the fastest man in the ninja world? Isn't his strength very strong?" "It must be. I see that he is actually on a team alone. Is he an unborn genius like Uchiha Itachi?" Unexpectedly, as soon as these words came out, the villagers on the side rolled their eyes one after another. "What a genius, it's just that 467 is just a crane tail who can only do physical skills, he hasn't even been to ninja school, he knows to run circles around Konoha all day, and then it seems that he didn't even bother to run laps. He ran a few kilometers every day, and it was over with some push-ups." The villagers looked at the villagers suspiciously. "What are you kidding? How can the crane tail who has not been to the ninja school take the 3rd official exam alone? Go through the back door? The people are the sons of the 4 generations of Hokage, and the 3 generations take good care of his apprentice. Is that so?" Everyone looked at Naruto with skeptical eyes, he was clearly more than a step taller than the rest of the candidates. And Naruto below heard the snort, and did not hesitate to give everyone 2 middle fingers to show his gratitude. The audience cursed, but no one dared to throw garbage at Naruto in protest like in the plot. After all, this Naruto is not belonging Naruto in the divine timeline. Whoever dares to provoke him, he will repay it on the spot if he has a vendetta. The unknown fire Genma in charge of the host looked at Naruto, who constantly provoked the audience, with cold sweat. "That. Naruto, it's the Chunin exam now, you guys are the protagonists today, you have to behave well, right?" Naruto pouted boredly, the protagonist of the hanging hair, if it weren't for the Book of Seals, he would have been lazy to take this exam. However, as a man, if he says it, it naturally has to be realized, and since he promised Sarutobi to participate in the Zonin exam, then he has no intention of releasing pigeons. "Stop talking nonsense, let's get started." Naruto's arrogant behavior caused the audience on the stage to whisper for a while, and only then did they somewhat believe what everyone said before, that Naruto was a disciple. Sarutobi Hinata at the top of the stands didn't care about Naruto's behavior, as long as he could come to take the Chushinobi exam, it would be great news for him.